Hi, Vieira with the Stock Market Live.tv. Today we are going to discuss a wonderful opportunity for investors in the markets, a company where I have a strong sell rating, and I consider it similar to the case of SolarCity. SolarCity, how to invest in SolarCity is extraordinarily simple. You visit website stockmarketlive.tv, and instead of losing billions of dollars as these idiots in the US, namely the CEO of the company, you should have sold SolarCity when I told you to sell the stock above $58, downgrading to strong sell, and saying that SolarCity was going to crash, and shares they crashed. And if you have questions, you can see it here live on the tape, since the tape always tells the truth. $18.80. And there was no analyst in Wall Street with a strong sell rating in shares of SolarCity. So today I'm going to discuss our opportunity where I have a strong sell rating. The company reported earnings, the company that I'm going to refer to. Last year I announced downgrading to strong sell this company. Shares they have been selling off since then, but in my opinion they have not crashed yet, so I have not found any reason whatsoever to close short positions or to buy the stock. Nevertheless, Wall Street keeps raising targets. That is usual, normal, standard. You have the example of Credit Suisse raising targets in Tesla Motors ahead of a stock crash, or recently in refining stocks, which I addressed in due time, selling ahead of earnings and they collapsed. And therefore, I believe that there are tremendous opportunities for savvy investors, those interested on the short side and on the long side. And today we are going to discuss one more company which eventually might follow the same path as SolarCity. Therefore, an investment plan, a trading idea, and I already addressed, bear in mind, this opportunity on live streaming sessions. Last year at least, almost every single session. Daily, all right? So I don't have to refer to day trading or short-term trading, that does not exist here. And during this presentation, I'm going to refer to some guidelines, all right, and showing you the chart, what to look for. And one of the things that people they often get confused is with regards to the major direction of investment. That is to say, there are plenty of people out there they trade in stocks, scalping stocks. This is typical among the Americans. They believe they can get rich by scalping stocks, or high frequency trading, you know, those scam tactics, does not lead anywhere. And they even believe that by having the server near NASDAQ that they have some kind of advantage. It's unbelievable, but they believe in that. Anyway, this opportunity I'm going to tell you here, but before I start, I have to refer to the fact that often, as I was saying, investors they get confused with the major direction of investment, probably because they see bounces occurring, but bounces they do not necessarily correspond to trend reversal or a bottom. All right, the bottom and the tops they are very complicated, and that is our work. It is not your work, since no one else can do it except ourselves. And the proof lies on the thousands of case studies during the past 25 years that you have on the website. I repeat, no one else can do it, otherwise they have to prove it. Live, recorded, as we do here. And if someone starts showing that, well, at least we have one competitor, but so far no competitors, and I don't believe, quite frankly, that I'm going to see any during my entire career. So the opportunity here is in this company that I'm going to address, and I'm going to start an investment plan. And bear in mind, I already downgraded this to strong sell. I reiterated the strong sell. I even informed investors when to take profits on the short side, when to re-enter the short side, and therefore I informed them with regards to bonuses, okay, and the important bonuses that they occurred, giving them a new opportunity to re-enter, and therefore to be patient. Then it is up to the investor to decide whether to maintain always a short position or even to add to the short side or to quadruple the size of the short position. That is precisely what I did. As I announced, in fact, there is an article on the website quadrupling the size of short positions, and that was across a vast number of stocks in the US, bubble stocks. And we are going to start, all right? So, which company I'm referring to? Well, I'm going to put it here, the ticker. But before I start, once again, these companies that they report earnings, these earnings, and people normally they listen to conference calls. One of the reasons I never listen to a conference call is that there is no value listening to a conference call. Most companies, they mislead, they deceive investors. Earnings, they don't correspond to the truth. I'm not sure if you are aware of this, but that is the reality. It is in fact part of a study based on facts that they deceive investors. Just remember the case of Vieira, and in most cases they are not known, all right? So that one of the reasons why share prices, they collapse, they crash, and there are plenty of cases, the Twitters, the Yelps, and so on. Those companies, they didn't have any earnings whatsoever. They had negative earnings, okay? So the market is a wonderful mechanism, and it is not as many they claim to be manipulated. The market in the end finds its own equilibrium point, and the more you try to manipulate a stock or a market, as for example the case with the central banks, these policies, the higher the price in the end that you have to pay for it, okay? So one of the reasons all these crashes they occur is precisely, you know, Mrs. Yellen, she has been helping us to achieve the best profits ever in our careers. So this company that reported already several times, the most recent report, they said that they beat earnings, and Wall Street kept raising targets. They didn't beat earnings whatsoever. The earnings, they were very bad. One of your questions is, how do you know it? Well, how do you know it? Is that that is you don't have to know, but I'm already helping you by saying that the very first thing that you should not ever do is to believe in all these scam websites in US where you have paid marketing and these companies saying that they beat earnings and they did this and that and the future is bright and so on. I'm not referring to all of them, obviously there are investment opportunities on the long side, but today I'm going to address one on the short side, and that is clear, okay, regardless of bonuses. So I'm going to start finally, and the company I'm referring to, the ticker, if I didn't forget, is this one. And everything that I'm going to say, it can be proven, all right? Because you have this information in our website, SunPower, okay? SunPower, we call it a kind of cousin of SolarCity. All right? We are not talking about the same business model, obviously, but if you refer to the history, how to invest in SunPower, well, last year we downgraded this to strong sell at $34, all right? So that is the very first thing that you have to be aware of. The second is that you have to refer to the chart and our ratings in SunPower. So the chart, you have it here, all right? Very simple chart. As you can see, there is a clear downtrend in place. Neglect the bull market during 2012 to 2014. Last year, Morgan Stanley, when we downgraded this to strong sell at $34, Morgan Stanley raised the targets. They had a strong buy rating with the target prices higher than $45. Well, I consider that so ridiculous that we gave a title to the chart last year in 2015. Every stupid American believes in Morgan Stanley price target $45. So it was very explicit, and shares, they collapsed. They went from $34 all the way down to $19.76. And this was in 2015. At $19.76, as I said at the beginning, what I did was to upgrade the shares to buy, but not to buy in the sense, now we have a bottom and let's buy the stock because now it's going to the moon. I said, here you can take profits on the short side, and then if you want to speculate on long side, it is up to you. But what we are going to do, or what I suggested you to do, was to wait for a new entry price on the short side. And this is precisely what happened in last year in 2015, when shares, they bounced from $19 all the way up to $30. So we started re-entering the short side again in SunPower above $28. Okay, $28. Last year the company reported earnings. They said that they beat earnings. Again, the earnings, they were actually quite bad. I'm going to zoom here for you to see the activity, the most recent one. So notice the existence of a downtrend channel in place. And this is the activity, the most recent, with regards to SunPower. As you can see, shares, they are going, the share price is going up and down, all right? Up and down, up and down. And this to say what? Well, that in the past, let's say 3 months, regardless of whether you had a long position or a short position, provided you bought it on weakness, you had the opportunity to sell the stock at a profit. And provided you sold short the stock on strength, you also had the opportunity to cover and to make a considerable profit, all right? When I say that most people, they get confused with which direction to invest, obviously you can trade both sides if you want, but there is always one that you have to prefer compared to the other, all right? So we didn't change the rating in SunPower. In fact, in 2015, late, when shares, they went to $30 plus, we reiterated the strong sell rating in SunPower. Why? Because at $30, if we had a strong sell rating last year at 34, there was no upside left, or the upside could be limited or very limited at most. So we reiterated strong sell rating, and we informed investors this is an opportunity for you to re-enter the short side after the bounce. In the past couple of months, what happened in SunPower is that shares, when we did it, that is to say, when we reiterated the strong sell rating, shares immediately collapsed again all the way down to $19 and 76 cents. This is to say what? There was no support whatsoever between $30 all the way down to $19.76. No support whatsoever. Imagine the profits. The rest is noise, my friends. The rest is noise. Whether it is 22, 23, or 24, 25, does not matter. There was no support between $30 and $19.76 once again. So we repeated the same profits all over again. All right, everyone, at least those that they follow my guidance. This is a weekly chart. I can change this, in fact, to a daily chart if you want to. Maybe a daily chart will help you to visualize better this downtrend channel here in place. As you can see here, all right? So a clear downtrend channel, right? I can do this here. I can zoom it. So what does happen here and why this stock you should continue trading and follow up the activity in SunPower? Why? Because it is one of the most reliable stocks out there. It is volatile, and volatility is good. First place. Secondly, it is reliable because shares are trading within a downtrend at what normally people call as a channel downtrend in this case. So every time share price approaches the red line that you have here on the screen, the probability for you to make higher profits on the short side increases, comparable, for example, if you sell short on weakness near the blue line. If you sell short near the blue line, you have a problem, because then if shares bounce, you don't have a profit, you have an open loss. If you sell short near the red line, the probability for you to make a profit on the short side is by far higher. Since I prefer the short side, I maintain the short position in SunPower. In fact, I quadruple the size of the short position. Why? I dislike the company. I dislike also the stock analysts that they have been following and giving price targets to SunPower. And you have this chart in place. Having said this, I'm going to delete here this comment, upgrade to buy. So this is not to upgrade to buy, it was to inform that, and it was 100% accurate, that you were likely to see a bounce, and the bounce occurred, right? So shares, they went from $19.76 all the way up to $30, and currently they are trading at $21.20. And I remain short this stock, okay? Even if shares, they move higher in the sense that they bounce again to the red line, I'm going to remain short the stock. If you don't want to do that, it's rather simple. If you have a short position, you place a trailing stop, and if you are stopped out, then you try to re-enter near the red line or above. Well, even better. So, why do I think that eventually this company might be a similar case to SolarCity? Well, for several reasons, and some of them I cannot disclose, but I'm going to address or to tell you that my price target on this, it will be around $15.80. That is to say, the downside target, okay? And downside target gives you a measure of the potential profit on the short side. So I repeat, $15.80. And the lower it goes, or the more it sells, the better it is, in the sense that even if you are bullish this company or any other company, the more it sells, the better it is. And you should always buy a stock, namely a speculative instrument or a speculative company, as it is the case of SunPower, after you made the most on the short side, after you profited the most on the short side, because you are not buying a quality investment. all right? And there are in fact today in the markets very few, I would say, quality investments given the valuations of most companies. So unless the shares they collapse, I'm not interested to buy SunPower. Moreover, when also people they get confused, it's precisely with these bounces, okay? Because you have to think about not the short term or even the mid term, but the long term. This is a stock that comes, from $4 or $5, from single digits. Who tells you that it is not possible? And most people, when they invest in the markets, they don't consider the worst case scenarios. Who tells you that this is not possible on a long-term basis, this stock to go down again to single digits? Well, those that didn't believe that SolarCity could go down, so much, or to crash, or to melt, as it happened, you saw it happening. So why cannot this happen also to SunPower? It can happen. So even if you are interested to buy shares of SunPower, I would say that is probably preferable, instead of keep adding to the long side within a downtrend in place. It is preferable you to wait for eventual scenario of shares to collapse, and then you buy the stock. After you see bad news, after you see Wall Street downgrading, and so on. Because today they are not downgrading. Last year they were not downgrading, and the fact is that shares they have been going down and down and down, all right? The best case scenario, in my opinion, for investors in SunPower, it will be the stock to move sideways. Even if the price, during the course of 2016, it is able to break the red line to the upside, therefore breaking the downtrend channel in place. Even if that happens, I continue saying that the best case scenario, it will be this to move sideways, in the sense that the best case scenario I already addressed last year when we downgraded to strong sell at $34. That is for me the best case scenario, something between 32 to 34, and not this to be worth 40 or 45 or $50. And when that happens, we maintain the rating. We don't change the rating just because we are going to see a bounce, okay? Unless the bounce that we eventually see or could see to be important, and in that case we can change from strong sell to buy, but as it happened last year, but without losing the focus on the major direction of investment in long term. And for me, the major direction investment on long term continues to be the short side. Even, I repeat, if shares during the course of 2016 they go up again to $32 or 34, does not matter. I will remain with the same opinion, since I disagree with this going to $50 or to 55 or whatever. Except if there are compelling reasons in the sense of political issues or whatever, but it has not been the case. So my price target on downside in shares of SunPower, it is $15.80, okay? So there is, in my view, still plenty of room for shares to go down. Even if they don't go down to $15.80, they can go down, for example, to $17 an hour or 18, and nevertheless, it is worth to remain short the stock. Moreover, what I also suggest to you is to look at the existing chart, that is this chart. This chart, it has been reliable already for basically almost 2 years. Okay, 2 years is an important period of time. And when you have a reliable chart, and we don't change charts, all right? We don't change charts. There are charts that they remain the same for years, okay? Since we work the pivots, the change of ratings, and then we maintain the charts, okay? So these charts, we created them, okay? Because we created these stock pivots. This is the most important. So we know the nature of the chart and how it develops, all right? So even if you are interested to buy SunPower, I think that you should wait to see if shares they can collapse all the way down to the blue line. because if they can collapse all down to the blue line, well, that will represent, the blue line right now, it is resting at around $16 an hour, all right? So $16 an hour, it is even a price above my downside target, the potential profit on the short side, which is $15.85. So I'm going to put in here price target $15.80. That is in fact below the blue line. So what to do right now? Well, I remain short the stock, all right? Moreover, this is the major resistance. So what I'm going to do here, since this is the major resistance, I'm going to use a double line, all right? And I'm going to make it red, all right? Double red line, major resistance, therefore defining as a double red line the direction of investment, which is the short side. And what I'm going to do here, for those that already have short positions, you can also draw other line. We call it intermediate line, all right? And this intermediate line, instead of being the major resistance, we are going to do it more or less here, between, okay, a middle point, and going through several pivots that you see here. So if you have a short position, or if you are playing the bonds or whatever, while the share price, even if the share price bounces up to this intermediate line, I don't think that you should close your short position, all right? I think that if you want, you can wait to see if there is a bounce. But if there is a bounce and the share price is unable to break this red line, you might ask, which is the meaning of it? Well, the meaning is that, very important, it means that the negative momentum is very high, and in this case, when you have a negative momentum which is very high, if the company, for example, next earnings they miss, or if the market conditions they deteriorate, the share price can collapse. And when share price collapses, it does not mean that you are going to get a bottom then on the blue line. So if the share price collapses and it crosses the blue line to the downside, it collapses. It happened, for example, a few years ago and went down to single digits, all right? So the very day that the share price collapses and crosses in very high volume the blue line to downside, this stock is dead in terms of momentum, and can be dead or remain dead for a long period of time. Therefore, if you don't know if this is going to happen, it is preferable that you stay away from SunPower, I would say. Okay? So just imagine what happened, for example, to Micron and many other companies. When they kept raising targets in Micron ahead of a crash, and they kept raising targets, and they said that Micron was going to be acquired, these rumors and blah, blah, and it crashed all the way down to my price target, $9.85. So I do believe still that this SunPower is an opportunity. And why do I'm referring to SunPower at this moment instead, for example, of SolarCity? Well, is that SolarCity, let's go back to SolarCity, just for you to visualize the share price. Well, SolarCity right now is $18.75, so I downgrade this to strong sell, $58 plus. In fact, the first time that I downgraded SolarCity to strong sell, it was at $85, saying that was a bubble. You have the article on the website of the company. And the stories are very similar in the sense that there is a current process of investment. I didn't change the rating in SolarCity, okay? I changed the rating, for example, in SunPower, saying that you were going to have a bounce. And last year in SolarCity, I changed also the rating to buy, and shares they zoomed 120%. Okay, they went from $26 all the way up to dollars plus, okay, almost $59, right? And then they collapse to a new all-time low as you have it here. But why now to refer to or to focus probably more in SunPower compared to SolarCity? Because SolarCity, meanwhile, melted, crashed, okay? So it is not so interesting as other opportunities in the market that the prices are still there high and therefore they can still collapse. So my suggestion is that you don't have, going forward, for example, to have 100% of a short position in SolarCity, and you can utilize, that was my suggestion to investors, a percentage of the profits obtained, for example, in selling short SolarCity, and to utilize them in the case of SunPower. And bear in mind that recently the company announced earnings, SunPower, shares they were trading above $24, and today they are $21.20, okay? So that was the opportunity in the case of SunPower. Therefore, you see that in terms of percentages, by far today probably simple to move SunPower to downside compared to SolarCity, all right? So after a while, or after they melt, it is more complicated than to move lower, since most of the move was already, or a great part of the move was already accomplished. And also then you have the news, you know that you have the news like the case of SolarCity. Recently you had the news that Elon Musk was buying more shares or whatever, does not matter, trying to, you know, put a floor in the sell-off, the sentiment, the negative sentiment towards SolarCity. Well, it's completely normal. Probably you, in his place, you would have done the same, to trying to change the sentiment of investors, or defending your own position, since he's one of the main shareholders in the company. Anyway, I'm not discussing here SolarCity, I'm discussing SunPower, just explaining the motives or eventually the reasons to focus more going forward on SunPower rather than on SolarCity, which melted. And I want you to have this chart as reference, all right, as well as all the comments that I made here, a price target, whether it is going to be $15.80 or not. Quite frankly, right now it is useless in the sense that you don't have to invest. I don't invest in the markets having in mind a price target, okay? I look for confirmation of this, all right? I look for confirmation of the potential or the possibility of the scenario to occur, okay? And look for it is to look at the activity on the tape, namely, there are certain rules that they are described and very simple in the basic training course, so I do recommend everyone to have access to the basic training course and to refer to it, because there are very simple rules that while you have a stock, for example, it is one of them, while the share price of a stock underperforms the overall market, the broader market, you should remain short the stock, okay? So this is precisely what has been happening with SunPower, okay? One could say that in the past, let's say 3 months or a couple of months, shares price, they've been going up and down, okay? So if you are a day trader or a short-term trader, you can utilize both sides of the market if you have that experience. That is not part of the forecast, all right? Forecast, it tells you that I'm still bearish this company. The price eventually on downside, whether it is going to be $15.80 or $16.50 or $17.50, does not matter. I think that even if you want to buy this company or shares of this company, you have to wait for really, for example, maybe downgrades or the company to miss. And while the situation in SunPower, situation in SolarCity, and also other companies within the same sector, okay, because I'm not referring only to SunPower, there are other companies with the same sector. While the negativity in this entire sector, it is rather strong, I think that you are wasting your time trying to predict where ultimate bottom is going to be, and it is dangerous, all right? Just refer again to the fact that some companies, they melted down to single digits and no one believed that that could happen, all right? So refer or refrain your many people, they want to jump in just because share price goes down 30% or 50%. That is not necessarily a reason to jump in or to invest, okay? Because like I said, let's take the example of SunPower once again. Let's say that a couple of months ago you bought the stock, you know, at $20 and you saw shares going to 30, all right? And you were very happy and you, for example, added to the long side. Well, today you have $21.20, so your profits basically vanished. And it is if you bought at the bottom, all right? Your profits vanished. So if they vanished, for some reason they vanished. So instead of this philosophy of buying to hold, be very careful and do not let profits turn into losses. This is other rule which is dramatically important. Do not let profits turn into losses. Anyway, this is not the trading course. The basic trading course, you have it on the website if you wish. And I do recommend strongly, because it's not only about the methodology and the principles you can apply to basically every single stock. It was recorded live, as you know, with the case of GoPro since IPO. And I think that I've been quite clear during this presentation, so if you have questions, you can contact us, but I think that I've been clear with regards to SunPower. Just wanted to show you the clear chart. Some people, they have problems drawing a chart. This is a simple chart. We have straight lines, you know, no complication. We are not here using technical indicators. We are just using commons, in fact, that we refer to last year. This is a chart that comes from last year, all right? You have it on this website, tradingview.com, as well as in our website, as well as a very important comment, which I'm going to repeat again before I finalize. Every stupid American believes in Morgan Stanley price target 45. And it's not about SunPower, all right? It's about, if you follow us, Morgan Stanley, overweight rating in Freeport-McMoRan, $28 in 2015, shares, they collapsed to single digits. And then we covered, you have the video on the website, unique in the world, $3.69, okay? Morgan Stanley, well, I could mention Morgan Stanley, you know, $400, 80 price target in Tesla Motors, shares, they collapsed, right? So, and this is just to refer to cases, there are plenty more, okay? Itself, and it's the Morgan Stanley share price itself, okay? So that is all the issue. So these guys, and by the way, Morgan Stanley, it was in fact the company most bullish in the world with the SolarCity price target ahead of the crash, 104. Okay, just have to Google it, $104 in SolarCity. So SolarCity today, you saw the price where it is, right? So what else to say? Don't have any comments or any further comments. I think that I've been explicit. Well, and define your risk ahead of assuming a position, define your plan, and if you have questions with regards to all these methodology and principles, you have the basic training course. And good luck investing in SunPower going forward. Thank you for attending this forecast, this also lesson in the end, and the objective is to help you and to give you, or to continue in fact investment process in SunPower, and to give you confidence that I remain short the stock, and that's it, with a strong sell rating, regardless of what this company had to say on earnings and what Wall Street is saying. That is. Thank you.